Well, I haven't jumped off the Lakers bandwagon. I've always said that if LeBron and AD are healthy, they're going to be fine. But I must acknowledge, I ran into a couple of Lakers while I'm out here in LA, and obviously I know a lot of people within the organization, and consistently, while everybody acknowledges the health of Anthony Davis is vastly improved, they talk about being concerned about the conditioning. That's all that we're talking about here. But the flip side to it is that what I'm recognizing is this. Anthony Davis, 4 points, 4 rebounds last night, 17 minutes or so. You got to believe in LeBron James because these brothers just know how to play. They're two of the top 5 players on the planet as far as I'm concerned. But I can't ignore what I'm seeing out west with the Phoenix Suns and specifically with the Los Angeles Clippers as well. They're the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. They're the top shooting 3-point shooting team in the league. And so when I look at the formidability of the Los Angeles Clippers and the way everybody's flowing, then I start saying, okay, Anthony Davis is going to have his A game and LeBron James is going to have his A game. Are we sure they're going to have their A game? That's the question mark right now. So the sooner they get back now, the better. They've been out long enough. Obviously, I'm one of those guys that believes that LeBron can stay out as long as he needs to with all the work that he puts in and very rarely taking time off. But I'm looking at the competition out west, and I'm not feeling as strong-willed and as strong-minded about the Lakers' chances as I was. I'm still not jumping off that wagon, but I'm starting to get just a touch nervous as to whether or not they're going to get compromised by Phoenix or the Clippers.
If you ask me who am I taking, if you ask me who I'm taking to get out of the West, the answer is the Lakers. If you ask me, am I taking them against the field or the Lakers, I'll make the Lakers the odds-on favorites. I'll take them against any one team. I'm not taking them against the field right now. And Stephen A., the reason is we don't know what AD is going to be. We saw him last night, and honestly, athletically, he looked pretty good to me. Rusty. He's rusty, conditioning, rust, I get it. But we need to know he's going to be at 100%. I don't think 80% does it in this Western Conference. Now, they caught a break in the sense that Jamal Murray's not going to be around because the Nuggets will be so live. But there are 3 other teams they're going to have to get through, most likely 2 of them, to get out of the West. And even if I like them by a little against either one of them, both together, look, the Suns, as you mentioned, this team, let's go back to the bubble. If you take out the playoffs, because even though they went 8-0 in the bubble, they didn't get to play in the playoffs, they have the best regular season record in basketball over that time. The Suns have been among the powerhouses all year this year, and they were 8-0 in the bubble. They added Chris Paul. And more than anything, that should show up in the playoffs. They have 2 near MVP caliber players in their backcourt, a well-constructed team, and really the only reason that I wouldn't be even more bullish on the Suns is DeAndre Ayton is still a little green. So I do like the Lakers against the Suns, but I think the Suns give them a run for their money. And then the Jazz been the best team in basketball kind of all year. You know, I don't believe in them in the playoffs as much as the team I'm about to mention, but you have to think that they are live. And the team, what they did with the Nuggets last year was a first-round series, but it's the best one you're ever going to see among them. The Clippers, you mentioned it, Stephen A. The Clippers, they're going to need AD to be dominant against the Clippers because the Clippers have some bodies, though Ibaka hasn't played in a minute now, and Zubac and stuff, but what are you really going to do with AD if you're the Clippers? You got some wings. No one's going to stop LeBron, but you have as good matchups as you could possibly ask for against LeBron in both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And you have guys who really know how to play, like obviously Rondo and Nick Batum, and I mentioned Ibaka, and guys off the bench who can score. The Clippers are dangerous. The Jazz are dangerous. The Suns are dangerous. The Nuggets would have been. I like the Lakers against any one of them, Stephen A., but I can't say they're better than 50-50 to beat at least 2 of them.
LeBron James has missed 18 games this year. Anthony Davis has missed 35. And the rest of the teams in the conference are playing together for the most part. I mean, Kawhi is Kawhi, so he takes time off when he needs to because of the injuries he sustained years ago with San Antonio and how guarded he is about that. But you look at what's transpiring. The one thing that I will give the Lakers credit for, however, is Frank Vogel and his coaching staff. You know, Jason Kidd, Lionel Hollins, my brother Phil Handy, and others. They're the number 2 ranked defense in the NBA. with LeBron having missed 18 games, with Anthony Davis having missed 35 games. So I give a lot of credit where credit is due in that regard, because obviously with those two out, but your defense not lagging off one bit, I think that says a lot about the coaching staff. I think that says a lot about what they're going to be defensively come playoff time. But I'm just looking at the Clippers. I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns. I'm looking at the Utah Jazz, and I'm saying Anthony Davis, he comes back. He's just rusty. We understand that. As long as he's 100%, we believe in him. But you got to remember, one of the things that I don't like, and I want to make sure I point this out. You know what? The Lakers can't just be big. They have to play big. When I see Anthony Davis, even though he can hit those shots, I just don't want to see Anthony Davis shooting a bunch of fall-away jump shots. I don't mind it every now and then, but he's got to be a man amongst boys come these Western Conference playoffs. He's going to have to make noise in the interior on both ends of the floor. Shooting fall-away jump shots from 17 feet away ain't cutting it. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't give a damn how great he is. In this year's playoffs, that's not going to get it done. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope shooting better than 42% from threes. Hit about 6 threes last night, if I remember correctly, 6 of 12 from three-point range, had 29 points, played the big-time game. What he did in the finals, he's going to need to do again. And Anthony Davis is going to have to play big on both ends of the floor as well in order for the Lakers to be what we expect them to be.
When AD was last seen on a court in the playoffs, he was the best big in the game. He was proving it again. He was proving it again. We'll see if that's still the case, because other bigs have come up in the world, notably Embiid on a game-for-game basis. May not have to see him, but he may. If Brooklyn's not healthy in the finals, or Giannis.
Well, I'm not worried about that, because by the time the finals come, you will have played 3 rounds.
Right.
I'm worried about those first 2 rounds.
Jokic. One of them
I'm worried
could
about
be
the first
against,
2 rounds.
One of them could be against Jokic, but at any rate,
first round.
AD is going to have to be dominant.
Please excuse me for diverting my attention away from the Golden State Warriors for a second here. First of all, I want to take a moment to give props to Mr. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, because I love me some Bradley Beal, and the Washington Wizards, winners of 6 straight. And if the playoffs will begin today, they're the 10th seed. They're in the play-in game. Okay, so they would have a shot to make the playoffs. Props to them for that, okay? But Max Kellerman, they're not the ones possessing the largest winning streak in the NBA right now. You know who that is, Max? You know who that is, Max?
Here it
Did you hear the news? Did you hear
We're going to talk about this later.
The New York Knicks, okay? I just wanted to point that out there, ladies and gentlemen. They're a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference right now. The New York Knicks. Oh, this is just beautiful. This is a special day.
Oh, my God.
Now let me get, we get into the Knicks later. Now let me get to Steph Curry. Over the course of the last 11 games, he never shot less than 45% from the field. Only twice did he shoot less than 40% from like 3-point range, so twice or 3 times in that 11-game stretch. The dude is phenomenal. And again, the ball handling skills are there, the passing skills are there. The movement without the basketball is something he should be applauded. I mean, the dude is 33 years old, in incredible condition, runs all over the court. He's built himself up. He's got a little bigger, Max, in case you haven't noticed. The physique is bigger now. He's not just this little kid that can shoot. No, he's a grown man now and looks the part. But when you think about his ability to spread the floor, like I told you, from the moment he steps past half court, you have to guard him. That just spreads defenses out and opens up the floor for your entire offense. And when I think about him being the greatest offensive player, that's where that stuff comes from. It comes from that. And that's why I have so much love for him as a player, because I see his impact, how he affects the game because of the spacing that he creates. So what last night happens, that's a given. You get tired, you've been on a road trip, it's no big deal. He'll be back. But he deserves to be applauded for the greatness that he's put on display.
He's one of the greatest offensive players in the NBA, but the burden of proof is not on me. Did he prove that he is the best player in the NBA offensively? No, he did not. Number 1, Kevin Durant, when he is healthy, is a better offensive player than Steph Curry. They played on the same team. I saw it. KD was the number 1 offensive option. Forget about defense for a second, right? KD's a better offensive player than Steph Curry. That's 1. So there's one guy right there. James Harden, I think look, what Steph is doing it's close among these guys, and what he's doing is miraculous. You want to argue Steph over Harden? All right. but I'll take Harden based on what I've seen this year. No, he can't shoot like Steph. No one can, ever, right? But Harden can really shoot. He can score from anywhere. He's physically stronger than Steph, and he's actually better running an offense. You know, in Houston, I thought he was worse because the ball doesn't stick with Steph. As you said, he moves without the ball. He can play on and off, and he's really a shooting guard, a two guard, trapped in a point guard's body. James Harden's conducting of an offense, orchestrating of an offense this season was as masterful as any you ever want to see by LeBron James or Magic Johnson or anyone. And he's one of the greatest scorers of all time. I think I would give Harden this year, I'm surprised to be saying it, a slight edge over Steph. And then there's Lillard, who can do everything Steph can do, not quite as well until it matters most. And I value high leverage moments. So Lillard is right there. And I'll tell you another guy we haven't been talking about, Stephen A. Jokic. This man is averaging over 26, 11, and 9. He's shooting better than 40% from three. He's a better passer than Steph, and he's a center. I think that Jokic is this year's probably the best offensive player overall, trailing maybe only James Harden when Harden's been healthy. So I think Steph is way up there, but I wouldn't put him number one.
Well, first of all, Max Kellerman, if you're going to bring up numbers, particularly when it comes to Jokic, well, you know what? Let's stop talking about Michael Jordan as the greatest. Let's put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there. Let's listen to Isaiah Thomas, who put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 19-time All-Star, 6-time league MVP, 6-time champion, the greatest scorer in the history of basketball, the all-time leading scorer, et cetera, et cetera. We still don't put him ahead of Michael Jordan because we exercise something called the eye test, too. And so as a result, we know better. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about Steph Curry and you compare him to Kevin Durant, I know that Kevin Durant's a better offensive player, but what do I say? Kevin Durant is more efficient. One thing that Kevin Durant lacks is the assertiveness, the aggression, because that's a big, big thing. He wants to play the right way. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness, I almost happened to sneeze. But that's what Kevin Durant likes to do.
I told you we need a vaccination for pollen. Sorry to interrupt.
Tell me about it. It is pollen. Pollen's in your nose is stuffy, and I got a sinus headache, too. But I'm all right. Here's the deal.
It's so bad.
When you look at it, Kevin Durant, I know that Kevin Durant is a better offensive player. I think he's the best player on the planet when healthy, me personally. But what I'm saying is that Kevin Durant will gladly defer and be a bit deferential and not be as assertive or aggressive. When Steph Curry goes out there, he's not only a marksman, he has a marksman's mentality. And that's what I say right now when you look at his level of efficiency. At this particular moment in time, the efficiency combined with the aggression is what puts them there.
Fair point, because Jordan wasn't you could say, oh, this guy's as efficient or more efficient, but Michael Jordan had more aggression, was a better offensive player. That's a fair point. I'll still take KD's offense. But Jokic and the eyeball test comparing Kareem and Jordan, I don't like that at all, because first of all, Steph ain't Michael Jordan. And second of all, Kareem is the guy Jordan really had to pass for a lot of people to be considered the greatest. And Jokic is not playing just like a center, Stephen A. He's bringing the ball up. He's initiating the offense. He's bombing from three.